Good evening and welcome to the special election 2018 edition of Arizona Horizon. I'm Ted Simons. Joining us for tonight's gubernatorial debate in alphabetical order, Republican incumbent Governor Doug Ducey, Democrat and ASU education professor David Garcia, and Green Party candidate Angel Torres, who works in the airline industry.
And the reason I'm running for governor is to bring the perspective of working people to our electoral politics. It's a point of view, a perspective that we rarely hear in politics. I'm a union member, and the way that we've been able to improve our standard of living is because of our union contract. So what I want to do as governor is I want to be able to help create worker-owned businesses, get more people organized into the union of their choice, and I want to bring that perspective to electoral politics.
So we need a change in education. It's Arizona's #1 issue. It is my strength. It is Ducey's weakness, and it's going to be the difference.
In math and reading, we're the fastest improving education system in the country. That's a testament to our hardworking teachers. They earned and deserved this raise, and I'm proud that I could sign the legislation to get it to them.
Oh, you had 75,000 teachers walk out. So what we have here is our teachers are demanding more. Our teachers are walking out, and they understand that what has been done so far is not enough.
Yes, first of all, our teachers are going to have a 20% pay increase. 10% of that has gone out.
As we go forward, we have an amazing teacher shortage. We have a very high teacher shortage.
But there could be any one of 48 governors in the United States sitting here that is also facing a teacher shortage. The Teachers Academy is going to say to young people that are in university right now that if they choose public education, they'll graduate debt-free.
We had a crisis when Doug Ducey walked into office, and we have a crisis when he's leaving office. When you came into office, you said that education was the most critical issue, and yet here we are.
We have 1,100,000 children in the state of Arizona. I care about every one of them. I want them to have access to an affordable and accessible and excellent education.
The empowerment scholarships work just like vouchers. They take money out of public schools and put them into private schools. And in this case, when we are 50th in the country in funding, and we're going to take this seriously, we need to fund public schools first and foremost.
If we're going to fully fund K-12 public education and give teachers and staff a much-needed pay raise, improve the infrastructure, improve the technology, replace textbooks that are 20 years old, we can't afford to have a parallel system like we have with the charter schools.
Angel just mentioned charter schools and the problems. We've been hearing about the problems, and they are stunning. You have now come out in support of reform for. Why now?
Charters are still very much in their infancy, and I think there's a lot of improvement that can happen there.
It is only now, after pressure and fear of losing your political position, that you stand up to this issue.
Democrats 11 times tried to change charters, tried to push for more reform and more regulation. Republicans weren't, they killed them all, and you were nowhere to be found. Now you want reform. Why now?
Well, but I'd like to see reform because we're seeing some of these things where there's a room for improvement on procurement or financial reporting, and this is what you do when you see an issue, you can address it.
The Red for Ed, you called it political theater.
I was talking about the union, the lawyers, and the activists. I am on the side of the teachers. And when we had the amount of dollars available inside our general fund where I could sit in front of the teachers and present a plan that we could deliver on, we had to answer an issue for the teachers. I was working with the superintendents. They said, Governor, we would like to see something that's beyond a one-year budget. If you could show a 3 to 5 year plan, we can move forward. We put together a 3-year plan, which is a 20% pay increase, and I signed it into law. You worked against it.
With respect to teachers, there are 75,000 of them, and they're asking to sign a Red for Ed pledge if you stand with them. I have signed it. And if you were on their side, then have you signed it, and would you be willing to sign it?
No, what I've signed is a budget that will deliver them a 20% pay increase. I don't sign activist pledges. I sign state budgets.
Sure. Was this movement more political than it should have been?
No, I thought the teachers did an amazing job.
Did you stand with Red for Ed? Did you stand for those teachers?
Yes,
and if so, how?
Well, yes, of course. I'm a union member, so of course I signed the pledge, and they're my fellow union members, so of course I would be there with them. I think the problem when it comes to Governor Ducey, your plan, is that this 20 for 20 isn't really a 20% increase. The other thing that's happening is that that Governor Ducey and the state legislature really passed the buck on to the school districts. the state legislature and Governor Ducey really haven't put any more money, any funds into it. It's being passed on to property owners who have to pay higher property taxes.
David Garcia's ideas are wrong for Arizona. They're risky. In many cases, they're radical. You're going to see David Garcia be very deceiving on a number of issues tonight. The Supreme Court caught David Garcia trying to rig an election and mislead voters and deceive them, and they kicked this initiative off the ballot.
David Garcia caught, the Supreme Court caught me rigging an election? There is no evidence at all.
They said that David is going to deceive you on public education. His ideas on education and doubling our funding is almost as radical as his views on the border.
Let's talk about immigration and customs enforcement. Do you want to abolish ICE?
Never said that, and the answer is no.
Do you want to replace ICE? Do you want to change ICE?
What
ICE?
What we need is an immigration system that works. And that includes three things. It includes security, lawful entry for those ready to enter the United States and contribute and to be a place of refuge. Number one, I am against Trump's wall, and I'd like to know where Mr. Ducey stands on that. But number two, to give this idea that in any way I would have unsafe conditions for Arizona is against who I am.
David and his campaign would like to abolish ICE. They don't want to see any wall on our southern border. They would like to remove the National Guard from the border, and he would like to defund the border strike force.
With all due respect, Governor, if we want safe and secure border towns, Nogales, where I lived when I was a young child, Yuma, Douglas, Bisbee, what we need to do is ensure that the economies of Mexico and Central and South America, that they have strong and resilient economies. People are fleeing poverty in these nations. Up to 70% of the Mexican population lives in poverty. So one thing, as workers, we would be negotiating international trade agreements that benefit working people, that don't drive down wages, that don't force governments to cut funding for education and social programs for health care. On the flip side, as union members and as Greens, we support an immigration policy that respects our fellow worker and their families, irrespective of where they've come from. So we shouldn't be scapegoating and demonizing people who are just looking for a better life.
Like I said, right now our economy is booming. We've got 230,000 new private sector jobs here, 300 companies that have relocated here.
Well, the governor said that we have a booming economy, but there was an article in the Cronkite News last Monday that says that 1 in 7 Arizonans is living in poverty. So what I want to do is, my plan is to strengthen the economy, get more workers organized into the union of their choice, create worker-owned businesses, use the purchasing power of our anchor institutions, our universities, our hospitals, and help strengthen the economy. We can't have a booming economy. I mean, the economy is booming for the top 1%, for the people who have the money to invest in Wall Street, but for workers, our economy is not booming.
I want to touch on the economy a bit and then come back to education. We've got more jobs available in the state of Arizona than we have people to fill them, and paychecks are growing in the state of Arizona as well.
And with respect to other governors, nearly every state has also had an increase in jobs. What we need to have in Arizona is a system where we do not have CEOs in Arizona who are getting a 47% raise over 1 year, while the rest of Arizona, folks like my dad who got up in the morning before the sun came up and combed his hair, got a 4% raise.
I want to see everybody in the state of Arizona get a raise. Right now we've got more jobs available than we have people to fill them. And speaking of the economy, the chambers have endorsed me, leaders and job creators. It's why our economy is booming.
Gentlemen, thank you very much. Good debate. Thank you for watching this special Election 2018 edition of Arizona Horizon, sponsored by Clean Elections.